evening, good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to the Armoury. Welcome to Full Time Sports Network. Welcome to the first match preview of the season. Oh, I've been looking forward to saying that. Mind you, I've not had a break, to be fair. I've not had a break from the last season. I've continuously done stuff. But yeah, we've got the wonderful G. How you doing, G?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I mean, yeah, it's flown by. The whole pre-season, the whole off-season, mainly thanks to you, absolute machine, pumping out the Arsenal related content. So yeah, it's crazy though, like how we're on the eve of our first match day. It's just absolutely flown. But yeah, I'm good, man. Chilling at the moment, spending a lot of time with the kids because they're all off on summer holidays. I've been out in the garden, playing around in the paddling pool all day. Got a bit of a tan, so yeah, I'm all good, man. How you doing though, bro?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Like I said, it feels like there hasn't been a break for me whatsoever. Yeah. Football has just continued for me, which for me, as everyone knows, I do this for mental health reasons. It's actually been perfect for me because when you rely on football for mental health, to have a break, it's a bit of a worry. So to be able to continuously do streams and continuously talk about football, it's been really good. So I've kind of enjoyed it. I've not had a break once. I'm streaming every day for the next 2 weeks, as far as as my schedule's looking. So yeah, I'm loving football. I just need a little bit of a break sometimes.
Yeah.
Just feel, the football world is gone mad. As you've probably seen in the press today with other people, other clubs. Football world is crazy. So to continuously be in it, it does blow your mind sometimes. So yeah, I'm just glad to be back talking about Arsenal playing a proper game now instead of pre-seasons and fitness tests basically. So I'll call it. We do want to do a bit of housekeeping. We did say that we were going to draw the raffle for the Ramsdale signed picture. We're going to wait until the United game, and I'm hoping G can tell me when that is, because on the top of my head I can't think when the United game is.
Yeah, I can tell you. I can let you know. I know it's coming up. Let's see. It's in, I believe. Right. Yes, it's Sunday, the 3rd of September.
Okay, so if it's a Sunday, it will be probably a Saturday night preview. Because obviously Arsenal news will continuously happen during the transfer window until it stops, because it's mad, as you could probably imagine with Arsenal news at the moment. You wait till tomorrow's show, it's going to be bonkers. But yeah, that's the first bit. Second bit, G, can you talk about the fantasy Premier League thing, because I have no idea what Tony's done.
Yeah, so I mean, I've been a little bit late to it myself. So yeah, I think I've literally joined today, I believe it is. So yeah, I mean, obviously everybody get involved, as much as possible. We do have our fantasy Premier League league up and running for the Armoury TV. I'm not sure what the code. Oh, there it is. It's right there on the screen. Bobby's brought it up. So yeah, you know what I mean? You know what it is, yeah, with Fantasy Premier League. It's something I always get involved in. I love getting involved, particularly early doors. I tend to find my interest in it tends to get sidetracked a little bit, particularly when we're coming into I'd admit last season it was like the last kind of 10, 15 games when I started to realize that we were actually in, a title race here and there was a chance we could win it. All of a sudden, I've got players in my team that I've picked that I've been rooting for to get me points. That I'm thinking, you know what? I don't care now if you get injured. If I drop points in FPL and it means I'm getting points on the board in the Premier League, then it's all good. But yeah, no, it's a bit of fun, man. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? It keeps you interested in. I think someone like me, I watch Arsenal games, but I follow all results in the Premier League, all scorers, particular players. So it's really, really good for that. So yeah, by all means, get involved. The code, I don't think if that is the actual code. Is that the code there? I believe it is. UTP 8C0. Tony, if he's watching, will probably correct me if that's wrong. But yeah, I think we'll probably be tweeting out something as well to kind of get people to join. But yeah, there's a couple of us in there already. Like I said, I made my team. I've been quite late in comparison to the other lads. I made my team literally today, and I've entered as many leagues as I can. So yeah, if you're not doing anything, you know, and you've got some spare minutes between now and obviously tomorrow, the deadline is, I think, around lunchtime tomorrow, because obviously you've got the Premier League game tomorrow night of Manchester City Burnley. So you really want to kind of get your team in before that. I think you can join after, but you obviously will miss out in terms of game week 1. And obviously with FPL point accumulation, somebody can rack up 100+ points in 1 week. So you don't really want to be putting yourself, you know, too far behind. So if you're interested and you follow the whole of the Premier League, as well as obviously being Arsenal supporters, get your FPL side done and enter the league with the code UTP8C0.
Thank you very much, G. And Moss is obviously going to be part of it. He's also doing the Super Brew, so just type in Across the Pond Sports Talk on Super Brew and you'll find his prediction leagues. Please join Moss's thing on that as well. Tony is very excited. Premier League is back, baby. Tony Forbrook, big up to you. Evening, Bobby and all. Bobby, didn't you have a break this morning? Don't get greedy. Yeah, I wish. I was up at 4:30 this morning, so no, I don't call that a break. I'll rely on you, Bobby, to make my day. Thank you very much, Tony. Evening to Geeks and Muckleby. Hope you're doing well. Everyone's saying hi to each other. No breaks on me and Moss's channel, even Nationals League. And there you go. So he's talking about what they're doing. Everyone's saying hello. Evening from Luke, big up to BX Gunner. Yes, that's the code, says Tony, so that's all good. That's why I don't do FPL. I'm too tribal and cannot cheer for other teams' players.
It is difficult. It is difficult.
Interests.
Because at the moment, I've got a proper mix of like, because for me, my tactic is I go all out on my first 11. And because you get basically one free transfer every game week. So my subs, I choose the cheapest players possible. I don't even know their names. I just choose the cheapest ranked players on the FPL so I can spend the most on my top 11. So yeah, it's one of those ones where at the moment I've got Chelsea players in there, I've got United players in there, I've got City players in there. And like I said, in the early weeks, I don't mind it too much, you know, if Kevin De Bruyne is banging in a hat trick. But you know, come the turn of the year, I'm like, no, get out of here. Do you know what I'm saying? So but it's all good fun, man. It's all good fun.
It is. But we are here to talk about the Forest game, which is happening on Saturday at 12:30. How are you feeling about the game coming up? Are you kind of nervous or just excited to get the curtain raised?
Mate, I'm not nervous at all. Like I'm literally, I haven't got an ounce of nerves going into this match. I just think, you know, I think the most, you know, rational of Arsenal fans, and even the irrational ones, I think, you know, at some point we'll probably have looked back on last season and thought, you know what, regardless of the fact that, you know, people may say we may have bottled it or blown it or inexperience or depth, squad depth, whatever the reasons are, the season didn't end the way we'd hoped, given the position we got ourselves in. But going into last season, none of us predicted that we would even be within a chance of a title race. The aim was to get Champions League football, was to be back in the top 4, and then so we could build from that. So I think going in, I think having the season we did, you know, pushing, you know, arguably probably, well, the most expensive squad probably in Premier League history, if not world football, right to the wire, I think it was a very admirable and inspirational achievement. For me, it's not success, because success is winning the Premier League, it's winning a major trophy, but it was an achievement for a very young, inexperienced squad, 100%. So, I mean, pre-season hasn't really gone swimmingly well. I mean, we've had a couple of wins. We've had a defeat to United, a couple of convincing wins against Barca, MLS All-Stars. I think for me, what's been good is that we've got better. As pre-seasons progressed, I've seen that the performances, not so much the results, but just the performances have got better. And I think when it mattered, the most important game of pre-season was against City. And I think that was arguably our best performance of the entire pre-season campaign. I think for large parts of that game, we held our own, and for large parts of that game, we were the better side. And I think we fully deserved to come home, you know, with the Charity Shield. So that game was massive for me, because it wasn't, you know, we really struggled to beat City. It's something I think somebody reminded me the other day that we hadn't beat them since 2019. So I think it was really important to put in a good performance, to get the win and to bring the Charity Shield home. And people laugh at it and say, you know, it's a Mickey Mouse Cup and tin foil and all this. But look, at the end of the day, it's a trophy. And it's also a psychological boost for us. I don't think it will massively do much to City in terms of, like, you know, their mentality or where they are. But I watched that game, and if you watch the way the players, the Manchester City players that are, how they celebrated the goal, how Pep celebrated the goal, how they reacted to the loss in that game, it wasn't a friendly. It wasn't. They went out with every intent to win that game, and so did we. And we came out on top, albeit for obviously a penalty shootout, but nevertheless we won the game. So I think, yeah, I'm not nervous at all going into the Forest game. I think we've had an amazing summer in terms of recruitment. You know, we've secured our number one target in Declan Rice. You know, we got Timber at whatever price it was. It was a lot less than what Ajax wanted or what Man United were quoted last summer. And he's an exceptionally gifted, phenomenal player. If they didn't know who Timber was before, everybody knows who Timber is now. Kai Havertz, like I said on the stream, wouldn't have been my first choice, wouldn't even have been on the list of potential players to target. But I've actually been quietly impressed with what he's done. I think he was one of the standout performers against City. He wasn't clinical in front of goal, but he gave us a different option. He gave us a different dynamic going forward. There were times when City were pressing us and we were able to ping the ball long. And his hold-up play and his distribution was really, really good, bringing other players into the game. So, yeah, man. And then obviously Raya's coming in. It's not been officially announced, but I mean, we've got, in my opinion, the best depth in goalkeeping positions in the Premier League. Yeah. So, yeah, hopefully we can get, you know, quite a few players out the door before the season starts. And obviously before the window ends on the 1st of September, hopefully we can get, you know, a few more through the door. But I think we're looking good. I think the squad's taking shape. And I have no nerves going into this Forest game. I mean, they did prove to be tricky opposition at times last season for a lot of clubs. I mean, they survived, and I don't think many people, despite all the money they bought, despite all the players they bought and the money they spent, I think a lot of people felt that it probably was a bit too much and it would be quite a bit disabling for, you know, their squad. Because I don't think if any of the players that brought them up got any game time. Nevertheless, it proved to work for them. They stayed up. So, but yeah, going into the game, I'm confident, man. I have no nerves. Literally, I mean, the fact that we're playing on Saturday at 12:30, other than looking forward to who's going to be starting, other than looking forward to the match and excited about the start of the Premier League, that's all I've thought about. I haven't thought about a potential banana skin. I haven't thought about us losing the match. And that's not overconfidence. I think at the moment, I'm just really caught up in the excitement of watching Arsenal again, having us play a competitive game. And because our summer has gone so well in terms of recruitment, I'm super chilled at the moment.
No, that's fair. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Tony's saying I've got Pires in my team. Was he trying to say Pires? I'm not sure. Tony has a strict no Tottenham players policy. I know a lot of people that do that. Moss is one of them. Big up to from Clock Orange. Hope you're doing well. He's saying hi to Tony, but he's asking you a question here. Don't you think we have had enough time with this manager? We have to go for the league now.
100%. 100%. You know what it is, yeah? It's not even about the narrative of, you know, I hate this narrative of if Arteta don't win the league or the Champions League, he's got to go. Because if we don't win a major trophy this season, at some point we're going to have a conversation about that. So we're going to have to reflect on the season and we're going to have to ask questions based on how we've done. So for me, I don't really want to start that conversation because we're right at the eve of the season starting. Like, this is when we should be excited. This is when we should be looking forward to the season, not thinking about the end of the season. We should be thinking about the beginning. You know, we go game by game. We go game by game. Arteta and that squad and the Cronkays and everybody involved will have the same ambition that we have, which is we want to win it all. And I think if any Arsenal fans would have had any doubt of that, I mean, the recruitment we've done this summer should just eradicate all that, because nobody envisioned that we would go and be so aggressive and so assertive and get all our business done practically before we even flew out on our preseason tour. You know, we everybody questioned whether or not we would match, you know, West Ham's valuation for Declan Rice. Everybody questioned whether we would pay over £100 million for a player. Man City came in. Everybody questioned, you know, he's going to go to Man City. He's not going to join Arsenal. And I just think at every turn when it comes to particularly bringing players in, I think they've answered all the critics and all the doubts. I mean, the deal we done for Raya was absolutely phenomenal business. I think every single player we've bought, I think, and even down to the Havertz deal, you look at the Havertz deal and you think 65 million is a lot of money, but you just have to look at what Man City are about to pay for Paqueta from West Ham. Yeah. You know, I'm hearing, you know, somewhere in the region of 80 to 100 million pound player there. So, yeah, man, I think Arteta and the squad are going to have their, you know, their ambitions for the season, and that is going to be the Premier League. That's going to be the Champions League. That's going to be the FA Cup. I feel Arteta and this squad and this club are going to want to win every single competition we enter. So I'm clear that their ambition matches our ambition right now. For me, that's 100%. I have no doubt that, you know, that's their ambition. Whether we win it or not, like I said, time will tell. And for me, I will reflect on that come the end of the season, because I think every season there is context. You know, things like injuries play a part. Sometimes in football as well, no matter how you play, you know, you can't control the way the opposition play. Sometimes you can't really compensate for individual brilliance. I mean, you can get to the final of the Champions League and then all of a sudden somebody wins it, you know, from a 45-yard stunner, and you've played an absolute flawless match. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, in terms of the question, I mean, you know, you're saying, have we had enough time with this manager? We have to go for the league now. We went for the league last season, and we fell short for the reasons that we all know. And there's no reason why, you know, I'm under no illusion, you know, or any disbelief that Arteta and the lads are going for the league this season. And I just hope that we'll have enough in the tank to get it over the line this time.
100%. Tony's saying it perfectly here. We went into season unexpecting, but came out expecting.
Yeah.
100%, Tony. That's exactly what happened last season. Big up to Luke Chapman, my Northampton Town fan. Do apologise that your team lost. I hope they turn it around and I hope they have a good season. Geeks saying, completely agree, for a squad with an average over 24. The jump from 5th to 2nd is amazing progress. They now need to consolidate that growth and shift the player mentality from contender to winner. I hope he keeps the same starting 11 against Forest. Okay. Evening, lads. Hope you're well. Hope you're well, Chris, as well. Why do things kick off when I'm on holiday? Mate, honestly, the past couple of days has been mental for rumours. It is crazy. I don't really rate Nottingham Forest squad, to be honest. I think they will get found out this time. They will be too reliant on home form. I don't play that FPL nonsense. Fair enough, Chris. Arteta needs to be in title challenge, win another trophy to add to Community Shield to call it a successful season. Quarterfinals minimum in Champions League. Didn't we go for the league last season? Only one team can win a trophy, so that means 16 managers are getting sacked. 100%. That's how I look at it. Trophies are the cherry on the top of the cake. What Arteta and team have done on the training ground with the personnel. I'm going to put Winnie in there as well. The shift from deadwood and egos to focus and determination is commendable. Absolutely agree. I agree, Geeks. They've given us our club back, and that's better than any trophy. 100%. All good. Happy Thursdays. Big up to Mars. He's in there. At the end of the season, I hope the team has competed for the league and cups. If we win, great, but we cannot expect trophies as the competition is so high. Just that we give it a great go. That's what I've always wanted. I just want challenge. I want us to challenge for every trophy this season.
And this is what people don't fail to realize as well. Like when you look at, I was speaking to one of my mates who's a Liverpool fan. You know, don't get me wrong, I know Liverpool have won, you know, other cup competitions, notably the Champions League. But in all the seasons they've gone toe to toe with City, they've won one league, one Premier League, and it was a season where it was COVID ridden as well. So yeah, it's. Do you know what I mean? Like we've got a very good team. We've recruited well. I think what we've done is we've put ourselves in almost a perfect position to challenge again, and to put ourselves in that position where we can challenge for the title. Whether we win it or not, only time will tell. That the competition is so fierce now Do you know what I mean? It's so fierce. What I like about our recruitment, though, is that because we still have a relatively young team, but if you look at the players that Arteta's bought or the club have bought, many of which are either club captains, they've captained their national side, or they've been vice captains. They've been part of a leadership group within their club or their country. Yeah. I think the thought process behind that is that kind of leadership, is that kind of mentality, because we still are a very young team. Like when you look at our back four, or you look at our midfield, or even our front three, you know, they are still very, very young and inexperienced. Yeah. But I think the hope is that if by adding players who are young but have leadership and leadership qualities and leadership mentality, I think the hope is that this time, if we get into a very similar position, we will have enough through squad depth and experience to get us over the line. But only time will tell, man. Nothing's a given in the Premier League.
No, 100%. Right, let's get on to talking about the teams. Now, the first bit of bad news is obviously the injury list. So this is the injury list for Arsenal and Forest. We've got Jesus, who is meant to be out until that 16th of September with a knee issue. Jorginho is meant to be back this Saturday. Don't know if he is 100% back yet. Same as Nelson with a toe. Seriously, toe. And Balogun with a foot. That's how they put it. That's how they send it to me. And I'm like, I've seriously got a tight toe. And he went, yeah, toe. Okay, fair enough. And this is the Nottingham Forest. So they're without Hennessy. They're without Omar Richards. They're without Felipe, which is a very good defender. Nikate is a very good defender. And they could be without Awonye. That's I think that's how you say his name. Ankle issue. He could be back, but to be fair, I'm not a Nottingham Forest fan, so I don't actually know if he's in training or not. But yeah, injury list, obviously Jesus is our biggest one. Zinchenko is back in full training, so that's good news. So he is, I don't think he'll be selected if I'm honest, but he's in full training, so that's the main news. Right, we changed the preview a little bit this season. We're not doing so much in-depth stuff, but we're still doing my 5 to watch because it's important. These are my 5 for you guys to watch. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. And I've had to put Matt Turner in now. I'm sorry, because I do think it's going to be an issue. But we're going to start with Morgan Gibbs-White because he is incredible. I know a lot of people, I think he's a bit like Marmite with some people because of the price tag, but I think he's absolutely fantastic. And I've just realised I've got a Welsh flag on him. I have absolutely no idea because he plays for England, but he's got a Welsh flag on there. I don't know why that's happened, but there we go. Ryan Yates, very good, hard-working midfielder as well. So, yeah, Brennan Johnson, absolutely fantastic winger. Anthony Elanga, one of their new signings. He is going to be dangerous for Forest, in my opinion. And obviously the final player is obviously one of ours. Matt Turner has joined. And the reason it's 0-0 is because he didn't actually play for us in the Premier League. So he's got no Premier League stats. But we know how good he is. So that's the important thing. And it's not there to help G with the challenge later. It's just my 5 to watch because they are the 5 I think could cause us a little bit of an issue. I think Matt Turner's going to have a 10 out of 10 game on against us.
He is.
He plays.
He is.
Fabianski does it. They all do it. As soon as they leave us, they have
Martinez, all of them. Yeah.
So, but we have got a new segment, and this is where me and G can sit back for a couple of minutes because I don't have to talk, which is lovely. But big up to this person.
Thank you, Bobby and Company, and welcome to the first instalment of Silver's segment. Something that you might find here on these previews. Let us know if you like it or not, but let's get into what is the start of the emotional roller coaster that is the Premier League, which starts for Arsenal this Saturday lunchtime against Nottingham Forest at the Emirates. Let's go into the starting lineup. It's my lineup. It's a lineup I think Arteta's going to go with. So as you can see there, I've gone with Timber at left back again. I think he was fantastic there against Man City. And you've got to reward him with a starting place at home. It's the home crowd. First Premier League game of the season. He was outstanding against City. So you've got to start him. A lot of people go for Tierney. Some people go for Tierney. But Timber, he looks ready right now. So why not start him? Gabriel Saliba is self-explanatory. Ben White at right back. carry on for where he left off last season. Partey controlling the midfield, bringing that ball forward. Rice in that 8 role. I want to see more of it. Odegaard, captain, self-explanatory. Saka, do I need to say any more? And I think Martinelli will get the nod ahead of Trossard, even though I do think Trossard does deserve to start, but I wouldn't be too upset if who starts there. I don't think anybody would. So, and they've gone with, as you see, Havertz up top. Game against Forest, first game of the Premier League season. Could get a goal, could be that confidence boost that he needs. Crowd get behind him, hopefully. And I'm going to back him. And do you know what? This is how much I'm backing him. I've even put him in my dream team. I've even made him captain. A lot of people will be thinking, whoa, a bit brave there, I said, I may be stupid, it may be brave, it may be a masterclass. We don't know yet. But with what we don't know, to start with the FPL, we might as well just throw something. Because you look at the fixtures, and the fixtures are hard, and you're probably thinking, you've got no Man City players there. Well, that's probably because I think I've got a sneaky feeling Burnley might do something Friday. Maybe delusional, maybe hopeful. But you never know. It's the Premier League, baby. You never know. So yeah, speaking of FPL, the link is down there in the description. It's probably going to be in the chat as well. Make sure you join our FPL league. And yeah, predictions. I'm going big. I was going to say 5. I'm going to be a little bit more respectful. I'm going to go with 4-0. I'm going to back Havertz to score 2 goals. By the way, 2 goals, 7-1. Jump on it. Anyway, I've been the Silver One. Back to Bobby and the boys for the preview of this game.
So Tony will be doing that for every game that we do. It is absolutely fantastic.
Love it.
Because he's been talking to me about for a week or so, and I was like, yeah, just go for it, Tony, because obviously it's awesome. He uploaded it today. I said, yeah, awesome. I love it. Because the thing with Tony, he can't get involved as much as he would like to, because obviously work and family commitments, and I try and move some streams to fit him in, but I can't always do it. So I love the fact that Tony can get involved in streaming as well. So big up to Tony. Absolutely brilliant. So he's gone for 4-0. Obviously, there's talk about FPL in there as well. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. And I believe that is your team, but we're going to get into everyone's teams as well very shortly.
Head down, push forward through the tough times, because anything worth doing is a tough climb. And I ain't gonna give up.
Right. This is the first team. This is obviously G's. If it is G's, I think that is right, isn't it? Yeah. I think that's pretty much the Tony's team as well, isn't it? Timber.
Yeah.
Oh no, he went for Trossard on the left. Is that right? Oh yeah, you went for Trossard on the left.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the only difference. So he's gone for Martinelli. Right. G, this is your team, so take it away. Explain.
Yeah, man. I mean, Ramsdale is, number one. Obviously, there's been a lot of controversy around, obviously, the signing of Raya, but I think even if that gets over the line, I think Raya's got to come in and prove himself to take that spot off Ramsdale. And even if that was to happen, I mean, I think it'll be too late in the day anyway. I think if anything, perfect case scenario, he'll make the bench. I don't even think that will happen, but we'll see. So Ramsdale in number one spot. I think the back four, you know what, as much as we've got some amazing depth at the moment, I think based on what I've seen during pre-season in terms of who Arteta's picked, who's had the most minutes and who's impressed, this would be my back four. I mean, Ben White was arguably the best, if not one of the best right backs last season. Pretty much convinced me, because I think I've always kind of fancied him more as a centre back and wanted him more as competition for Saliba, but for whatever reason, Mikel Arteta fancies him there, and I think proof's in the pudding. He's been phenomenal. It's lovely to have Saliba back. I mean, Rolls-Royce defender, has really impressed during pre-season. How did we miss him at the back end of last season, man? Gabriel has his critics, does have the odd moment, when you have your kind of head in your hands. He did one against United in a pre-season friendly, but this guy's so solid, man. And he was so consistent for us last season. It was unreal. I think with him, he's the kind of player that he'll have 10 good games, 1 bad game, and everybody will just absolutely rip him a new one for the 1 bad game he has, but not talk about the 10 where he's been absolutely sound. So yeah, for me, it's a no-brainer to have Gabriel. Kivior has impressed, but for me, not enough to, replace Gabriel for him. Left back, Tierney's had a really good preseason. Zinni we've not seen, but good that he's in training. So, I mean, Timber's come in. I've never seen Timber play left back, but I've seen him play left back for Arsenal, and he looks like he's played there all his life. Yeah. Just an absolute gem. So that's my back four. I mean, the midfield is really interesting. I think in the first couple of games in preseason, we shaped up with Odegaard, Havertz in the number 8 role because we were without Rice because of the whole transfer saga, him being a little bit behind in his preseason. But I think the last couple of games, when it's mattered against the likes of Barca, notably Man City, this is the three we've gone with. And I think this is the three we're going to start against Nottingham Forest. This is the three I want. I think Partey has had a really good preseason. I think what Partey does, he kind of just shores up that midfield a little bit more with him, and then Rice being in the 8 row and Odegaard pulling the strings. Odegaard's been absolutely phenomenal. He seems to have just picked up in pre-season where he left off last season. Just absolute brilliance. So those three are my midfield. In terms of the front three, Saka Starboy, he's had an okay pre-season. Some games he's been brilliant. Some games he's been a little bit missing. I think he's picked up a little bit of a knock in recent, or not knock, he was unwell. But from what I understand, he's fully recovered. So I'm going to start him on the right-hand side. Trossard on the left. I mean, the Trossard-Martinelli thing for me it's a difficult one. The reason why I'm going for Trossard, it's not because Martinelli hasn't impressed me. I just think Trossard has arguably probably been our best player of pre-season. I genuinely feel like if he doesn't start, I don't know what else he has to do. I mean, I think he scored 4 goals in the preseason friendlies, and he was the player that got us back into, obviously, the Charity Shield against City with the equaliser, albeit a massive deflection. So I think it would be really, really hard on him if he doesn't get a start in the opening game. But this is the quality and the depth of our squad now. We're having these conversations where it's like who plays and who misses out. And I think with Havertz, from what I've seen of him in the 8 and what I've seen of him in the false 9 position against City, for me, I was more impressed with him playing the false 9. And I also feel like this game is more made for Havertz in that I think Forest are going to play deep. I think Forest are going to try and frustrate us. They're going to try and keep it tight. They're going to press. They're going to make life difficult for us. So I just think him being up top is going to give us an alternative option that, say, Trossard in the middle or someone like Martinelli or Eddie in the middle is not as good at, in terms of like we can hit it long. He's decent in the air. He can hold up the play. So that's the reason why I'm going for Havertz. It's not necessarily a reflection of, Trossard's been awful in the middle or Eddie's not been good, because Eddie, I think against Monaco, that was one of the standout performances across the whole team. All the players involved, he was exceptionally good in that match. But again, this is the nature of the squad. We got such a good squad where even if this team isn't picked, I'm not really going to bat an eyelid. But that would be my lineup and the reasons why.
No, fair enough, mate. Also, who else went for this? Josh, Tim, Gumza, Jack, and Canazza. It's a bit like an Armoury squad, to be honest. What I would ask of you, though, G, because what we're going to do, we're going to try and rate the next ones.
Yeah.
And because I've just gone through all the lineups, and Tony has actually got his own separate one, which I thought would match someone else's, but it hasn't. So could you just rate Tony's team where Martinelli is instead of Trossard? So could you rate that one?
For me, my team is a 10 out of 10. Yeah. Personally, I think it's a really strong lineup. However, for me, Trossard and Martinelli is a like for like. So I can only rate Tony's team 10.
No, that's fine, mate. I just needed you to do it because obviously I haven't actually got Tony's drawn up, because I actually thought his would match one of the 10, but it hasn't.
Honestly, if I saw Martinelli over Trossard, I wouldn't bat an eyelid. They're both quality.
Right, yeah, no worries. Right, let's move on to the next team, which was chosen by James. He's gone for Ramsdale, Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, Kivior, Rice, Havertz, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, and Trossard. So the big talking point there is obviously Havertz in the 8 and Kivior in the 3. So what would you rate that one? What James has tried to do there?
I think it's a good lineup. I'm going to rate it an 8.
Yeah, fair enough. You got any issues with Havertz being the number 8?
You know what? I don't. I watched him play there in a couple of the friendlies, and it didn't quite click. But for me, do you know what I mean? He's a new player. He's still learning the system. He's a player that's played all over the place at his time at Chelsea. He's never really had a fixed position. But I think maybe that, I think that's one of the reasons why Arteta, has bought him, is because he is a versatile player. I don't have any issues with him being there, particularly against Forest, because I don't think there's going to be an emphasis on us having to be ultra defensive in this game. I think they're going to give us the ball. They're going to try and get physical. That's what they're going to do. We're going to have the vast majority of the possession, and it's going to be a case of us trying to break them down, and they'll probably try and hit us on the counter. That's what it's going to be like. So I wouldn't have a problem with us playing a lone 6 in this game at home, away to what I will consider, a bottom half, if not a relegation battling side. So I wouldn't necessarily, if I saw Havertz in the number 8 position, and that meant that one of Rice or Partey sat out, I wouldn't have a big issue with it, because I think we could afford at home against that level of opposition to be a more offensive unit than, say, we would against maybe, a top 6 side.
No, that's fair enough. Right, let's move on to the third squad. This was chosen by Carlos, Moss, Cole, Nicolas, Brenny and Karen. So big up to everyone that's chosen this. They've gone for Ramsdale, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Timber, Partey, Rice, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, Trossard as the number 9. Mm-hmm. Rating for this one, mate?
Again, that is practically my team other than Havertz and Trossard. So I've got to give that a 9.
Fair enough. Yeah, we don't need to talk too much about that one. No. There's going to be a few that you will need to talk about. I promise you that.
No worries.
Let's move on to the next team, chosen by Albert and Ben. So big up to you two. Ramsdale, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Timber, Jorginho, Rice, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, and Havertz. So the big talking point is obviously, I'm struggling with names today. Jorginho as the number, whatever you want to call it, 6.
Yeah.
In my head, it's a number 4, but that's because I'm old school. But number 6, right? You know what I mean when I'm saying number 4.
No, I hear you, man.
In our old times, it's number 4, but it's number 6. Right. So, would that be an issue with you? Because for me, I love Jorginho.
No issue at all. I mean, Jorginho proved several times last season that he's more than efficient to come in and play that number 6 role. At times, he was arguably better than Partey in that position. So no issue for me. Other than the fact, obviously, I went for Trossard. I'm still going to give that a 9. Because for me, Trossard and Martinelli is just, I prefer Trossard, but if Martinelli plays, I really, really don't care. I'm not going to be annoyed by it. So the fact that he's put Jorginho where I put Partey, I'll give it a 9.
This is Miguel's and John's. They've gone for Ramsdale, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Kivior, Partey, Havertz, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, Trossard. Again, it's just little tinkering.
Little tinkering. Yeah.
So what are you going to rate this one?
Yeah, again, I've seen Kivior in the left, so it wouldn't be my choice, but nevertheless, I'll give that an 8.
Let's move on to the next team, which is chosen by Richard and Stuart. They've gone for Ramsdale, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Timber, Rice, Havertz, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, and Trossard. So again, I'm just a little tinkering, nothing major. What are you going to rate with this one?
Again, it's a really good lineup, man. I mean, I'll give it an 8, probably a 9. Yeah, it's a good lineup, man.
Yeah, you're going to try and do 8.5 then, weren't you?
Yeah, I was.
Right, let's move on to Mehmet. He has gone slightly off the norm. Ramsdale, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Timber, Partey, Trossard as the number 8, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, and Havertz. So obviously Trossard, talking point for you for the number 8.
You know what? Trossard can play there. Yeah, he can play there, and I think that's the beauty of a lot of our players, is that they're just so versatile. He wouldn't, again, I think the game against Forest, being at home and being the opposition that we're playing against, I think we can afford to be maybe a little bit more offensive than, say, the team I picked. So I wouldn't be surprised if Arteta actually goes with a more offensive player in that number 8 role rather than a Rice. So again, for me, it's a really strong lineup. I'll give it a 9.
G's being real. I guarantee later in the season, G's going to give me some 5s and 4s and 2s. Because trust me, some of these lineups do stress him out, but he's all happy at the moment. So
I'm happy, man. Listen, I get to see Arsenal on Saturday, man. I'm full of it, man. I'm all good.
All right, let's go on to Zaina's. She's gone for Tierney at left back, basically, and pretty much everything else is the same. So it's Tierney coming in at left back. So what would you rate that?
This is basically my lineup other than Tierney. So I'm not going to be unfair to Tierney. Tierney is a quality. My only concern with this is that we don't necessarily have a player who can play that inverted role. That's my only concern. Other than that, it's a really, really impressive lineup. KT's had a really good preseason, but just because we may miss that dimension of that inverted role, I'm going to give this one a 7.
All right, no worries. No worries at all. There's reasons why I give these ratings because I actually feed back to everyone so they know what they got rated. Right, let's move on to Luke's. Luke's the only person that's picked Eddie out of all the lineups. So yeah, we're just it's literally Eddie's come in pretty much for this one. So what are you going to give this one with Eddie up front?
I can't give it a 10. And for me, I can't give it lower than an 8. So I'm gonna stick with an 8.
Yeah, okay. But is it weird that this is the only lineup that's had Eddie in it?
You know what it is? It is crazy. Given, but I think it's just I think what has really swayed a lot of people's opinions is one that the preseason that Trossard has had. He's had, honestly, I think for a lot of Arsenal fans, it's gone under the radar just how good he's been. I think he's been our top goal scorer in the preseason. And he, in terms of moments, he's had those moments when we've needed a spark, we've needed a goal. He's been the person to get it for us. So I think that's kind of stuck in people's minds.
Yeah.
But then also, I think a lot of people, including myself, was very impressed by the role Havertz played against Man City. I saw him in the 8. I wasn't blown away, but I was willing to be patient. I saw him in the false 9 position against City, and I was like, I know we had a couple of opportunities, but I think somebody pointed out in the WhatsApp group, you know, we've come down hard on the likes of Jesus not being clinical. We've come down hard on the likes of Eddie not being clinical. So we can't come down, you know, tenfold worse on Havertz. Like, he's not an out-and-out striker. He's not.
Yeah.
You're not going to get, a clinical Ian Wright up top if you're playing Havertz. That's not what he's played there for, which I think Canners and Gums are so brilliantly pointed out in the group chat. You know, you're playing Havertz there for completely different reasons than getting you 20, 25 goals a season. He's being played there to hold up the ball, give us another option, and bring in the wide players to get the goals. Yeah. So, but I think that's what it is. I think that the form of Trossard and the performance of Havertz against Man City, I think, is the reason why Eddie hasn't featured so much in this lineup. Because it's not that Eddie hasn't had a good preseason. He has. He's had a decent preseason, but I just think because of those two things, I think that's the reason why he's not featured so much.
Fair enough. Let's move on to the final team chosen by our wonderful Indian Gooner, Satvik. He's gone for Ramsdale, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Tierney, Partey, Fabio Vieira, Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, and Trossard. All yours, G.
I'm gonna give this one equally with the other lineup that I gave a 7. I'm gonna give it a 7 just because, again, I think we miss a trick when we don't have a Zinni or a Timber to play that role as the extra man in midfield. Vieira, for me, he's had a really good preseason. He's not pulled up trees, but he's looked stronger. He's looked more hungry. And he's always had that technical ability, always. And he's one of the players that I've been so patient with because for me, I just know this guy's going to bang in an Arsenal shirt. I just have that feeling. And I want him to bang. Like, literally, I really, really do want his career to take off. And I think this is a massive season for him. But in order for that to happen, he has to be given opportunities, and that's going to be difficult because we have such a strong squad now. So, I mean, if I saw him line up against Forest, I'm not going to begrudge him that. I'm not going to be disappointed. He's there to play football. We signed him for 35, 40 mil. He's easily, a very talented footballer. And again, I go back to the same thing I said against Forest. I think we can afford to be a little bit more offensive and less defensive in this game. So I don't think it's something Arteta will do in this match. It's not what I did, but only because of the inverted role with the wing backs is why I'm going to give this a 7. But again, it's a good lineup.
No, fair enough. Right. G knows what's coming up soon. So I'm going to leave G just to chill because the challenge is coming up. So I'm going to get through the comments. And then it's all down to you, the chat box, because you're the ones who are going to get involved after G's chosen his team, because you've got to do a vote and you've got to give me predictions shortly as well. If you actually look at City, 115 charges, and now Chelsea being investigated, at least we're honest. Maybe that's our problem. We don't cheat. I'm not going to say anything on that, but that's very good knowledge there, Tony. City and their resources almost make the league seem boring and implausible for others to win, but positions 2nd to 10th is possibly the most competitive in world football. Pretty much is. Balogun looked down and said, "Blimey, I've got a foot. I can't play." Big up to Mars. Gibbs White is a good player, great attitude, bags of ability, and loves the big games. He does. Gibbs White being great. Brennan Johnson, interested to see if Elanga starts much. Yeah, I'm sure he will. Yes, they've spent 15 million quid, which is not a small amount for Forest, if I'm honest. I wouldn't mind getting Johnson, nor would I. I absolutely love him. Big up Bobby saying a North American keeper is really good. I don't care where any goalkeeper's from. If they're good, they're good. I don't care if they're from Thailand, Fiji, America, England. If they're a good goalkeeper, I'll say they're a good goalkeeper. I don't give a monkey's the nationality, if I'm honest. It doesn't really bother me. Hard to hear it. Oh, that's obviously regarding Tony's. We'll try and sort out the volume for you next time. That is our first try, first time in doing it. Is there priorities for the FPL? As far as I know, no. I think it's just for fun and bragging rights. I think when it comes to these lot, Bobby letting FPL talk. I'm allowed to talk about it. That's all I'm allowed to do. It is great that there is a debate about what the lineup could be. Such is our squad depth. Yes, I got a little bit moany last season where people would just give me a couple of changes and that was it. Thankfully, I've got a very good group. I've got the Armoury lot and I've got this wonderful group that I work with as well that spend time doing it with me. So I love them all for that. Forest challenge is that today. Every preview, Moss, every preview, there is a challenge. And G is going to take part in that shortly. Keeping players hungry is a good thing. Fighting for a place, whatever we're going to play on the right to rest Saka. Why not rest Saka? He can always come on, says Tony. Big up to Brenny. Hope you're doing well. Ramsdale, give your Gabriel Saliba, Timber, Rice, Havertz, Odegaard, Martinelli, Trossard, Saka is BX's team. Good team. Chris Welch going for 4-0 to the Arsenal. I'll try and remember that if I can. Moss is already taking part of the challenge, so I'll star that and come back to that in a bit. Tony's going Ramsdale, White, Saliba, Timber, Rice, Havertz, in brackets, my boy. That is Tony's boy. He just loves him. Martinelli, Jorginho, Trossard, Odegaard, and Vieira. Good team once again. He's done it another time. I don't know how many times Moss is doing this challenge. James is saying Jesus, Trossard, Havertz, Eddie. That's the order of strikers for me who start. Okay. Big up to Steve. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. He's gone for Ramsdale, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Timber, Rice, Havertz, Odegaard, Saka, Trossard, and Martinelli. He has been on a preview before, isn't he, Steve?
Yeah. He come on the show back in the last season when we did all those shows with other content creators. Yeah,
we're gonna have to try and do that again because it was very good to speak to Steve. He's a very interesting guy, very funny as well. Oops, forgot Gabriel Bivey. Big up to King's Football Show. Big up the panel and the chat. Less than 2 days, and our beloved Arsenal is back. Moss is going for 2-0 to the Arsenal. Right, it is the challenge time. So good luck, G, because you're going to.
Oh, mate.
Right. So, for people that don't know, the formation is chosen by the home team. So, obviously, Arsenal's formation, we all know what it is. So, that is the formation G gets to choose from. G has to choose 5 Forest players, 6 Arsenal players. This season, though, I've changed it up. No suspended, no injured, no loaned out Moss. I know he tried to do Lukaku last season when he was on loan at Inter. Don't know how he managed to try and do that. So it's a lot harder because you can't just have people that are injured anymore. Because you need to spice it up a little bit, these challenges. And I've definitely spiced this one up. You are up against 2 Forest staff members as well that have taken
wow.
And there will be a vote, which I'm going to start now. So please don't vote yet. But there will be there's an interactive vote. So you get to choose who wins between G, Natalie, and Kyriakos. Okay, they are the 2 that G is up against. So G, let's start with your first player. You're going to do Forest or Arsenal?
I'm going to go with the 5 for Forest.
All right.
So I'm going to go with my boy Turner in goal.
All right, mate.
I need to distribute these Forest players across this 11.
Okay, so your second Forest player.
Yeah, I'm going to go with, just because of the lack of experience at the back, I'm going to go with Steve Cook.
He has left.
Oh, man.
I believe he's left today.
Oh.
Yes, he's left and signed for QPR.
Oh, man. All right, cool. I'm going to
Sorry,
go
mate.
with... It's all right. All right, I'm going to go with... I need to pick a defender. I'm going to go with Nico Williams.
Okay, do you want him on the right, yeah?
Yeah, I want him on the right-hand side.
Yeah, it's Nico Williams. Right.
Yeah.
Third player.
I'm going to go with Danilo.
Okay. I will explain that Danilo does not come up as a Forest player for some reason, so I have to just choose a blank Danilo. I have literally no idea who he is. He plays for AGC Nice, but that's not the Danilo. But it'll do. We all know who we're on about. Right, your 4th player.
I'm going to have to go with... the only other 2 players really that I really fancy in this side. I'm going to have to go with Gibbs White in midfield.
Okay, you want to put him in midfield, yeah?
Yeah.
Because you can put him on the wings or...
No, I'm going to put him in midfield.
All right, Gibbs White's in there. And your final Nottingham Forest player?
It's going to have to be... it's going to have to be a forward and it's going to have to be Brennan Johnson.
Okay, where do you want him? Right, left, middle?
I want him on the right.
Okay.
Sorry, Starboy.
Yeah, I can see what's happening here. Right, okay. Left back. Who are you choosing for the Arsenal?
Well, it's got to be Timber because Zinchenko's available, isn't he?
Yes, he is now. Yeah, so he's a...
Yeah, I mean, yeah, based on fully fit, I don't only having a pre-season around these belt, I've got to stick with Zinni.
Okay. Your 2 centre backs, I'm going to guess,
Yeah.
are Rob Holding. Yeah. Saliba and Gabriel, yeah.
Saliba, Gabriel, yeah.
Yeah. Just testing you. Yeah, making sure you're awake. I do it with my son every day, to be fair. I just test him on questions. He goes, what? It's always fun. Right, your last midfielder for the Arsenal.
Right, let me see.
It's not that easy now, is it? Because you've got...
No, I mean, that's a key position.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Havertz there,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, on the left, who do you want on the left?
It's going to be Trossard.
Trossard.
I know. I can see the comments. I can see them.
And
then...
the striker.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. The injury thing has got me. Oh, man.
I will allow you to put Martinelli there if you wish.
I literally forgot the injury thing, because I was like, I'm going to pick Jesus, innit? Oh, man, it got me. No, you know what? No. I'm going to stick with... I'm going to go Eddie, man. I'm going to go Eddie.
All right.
Yeah.
I think you might have lost the challenge now.
Yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. I was just thinking, I was just banking on Jesus, and then I realised we can't do it. So
yeah, it made things too easy last season. I've wanted to spice it up a little bit. Right, this is G's team, so he's gone for Turner in goal, Nico Williams at right back, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Danilo, Gibbs White, Havertz midfield, Johnson, Trossard on the left, and Eddie and Nketiah up front. I'm trying not to say that without smiling too.
That front three is dead. That front three is dead.
Okay, now guys, this is what you've got to. So it's either G's team or one of these two teams, which was chosen by the wonderful Natalie and the wonderful Kyriakos. So they have gone right. So Natalie's gone for Ramsdale, Aurier, Saliba, Gabriel, Timber, Danilo, Odegaard, Yates.
I've still got a shout here, you know.
Johnson on the right, Trossard and Chris Wood up front. Now Kyriakos has gone for Turner, White, Worrell, Gabriel, Tierney, Mangala, Odegaard, Rice, Gibbs, White.
Come on, people, man.
Trossard.
Come on, people. You know what team's the best team, man.
So they are the ones to choose from.
Come on, people.
So let's wait and see. No Martinelli says Moss.
Stay loyal to your Armoury guy, man. Come on.
So please vote. And I'll give you about 5 minutes. We're going to talk about the predictions now, G. And also, guys, in the comments, also please put your predictions in as well as voting. Because it's important because I'm not choosing anymore. People didn't like my choices, so I've gone, you know what?
G talks, man. Come on, man. I need your votes, people. Come on.
G, what are you going to go with for predictions?
I'm going to go for a comfortable 3-0.
Really?
Yeah, comfortable 3-0. I'm confident going into this game. And I think for Nottingham Forest, it's going to be obviously like it's always tricky in it going into the opening game of the Premier League. There's always that chance of a banana skin. But I think, honestly, I think Forest are just going to try and frustrate us. They're going to try and not lose the game. We're going to get a lot of the ball. And I just think we're going to have way too much for them. So I think the first goal could take a while to come. But I think as soon as we get one, we'll get two and number 3 in quick succession. So, yeah, 3-0.
Fair enough. I don't know what to do because I've got a horrible feeling that Turner's going to have one of those games of his life. And I hope I'm wrong. But if Awoniyi isn't playing, which will be fantastic for me.
Yes.
He is a nightmare.
Yeah, he is a nightmare.
Chris Wood isn't a nightmare. He's just a pain. Well, he's just a pain. He's not a nightmare. He's just a pain.
He's so strong.
Yeah.
So strong.
I can't see us letting a goal in. I'm going to go with 2-0. I don't think it's to be a great win, but I think we'll get it over the line. So I'm going to go with 2-0. Moss has gone for 2-0. Any other predictions, please do get them in. Geeks has gone for 3-1. Big up to Geeks. I'll write yours down as well. I'll check the vote in a minute as well. Turner, what's King gone here? Turner, Timber, Gabriel, Saliba, Nico, Gibbs, Danilo, Odegaard, Martinelli, Aeon. You can't actually pick him because he's actually injured. King, you probably missed the new rules. You can't pick anyone that is.
I missed the new rules, even though you explained them to me.
Yeah. People, you get used to the new rules. It is this one. People have voted loyalty, so Tony's voted for you. Tony Fulbrook has gone for it. Turner, Saliba, Gabriel, Johnson, Rice, Timber, Havertz, Nico Williams, Danilo, Gibbs, White, Saka. That's not bad, you know. That's a good team.
Gabriel, Johnson, Timber, Havertz.
Moss.
That's actually a good side.
Yeah, so Moss's first team would be a fail because he went for Awoniyi. And again, the second team would be a fail because you've gone for Awoniyi. You can't have injured players. And because he's on the injured list at the moment, you can't have him. I think it has to be potential for the game to be one of them, but the most frustrating ones where we look like we are playing with a handbrake on. I hope not. I see. This is what I don't want to see next season. I don't want us to be 2-0, 3-0 up, and then all of a sudden we go into third gear. I want us to go for the jugular next season, beat a team 8-0.
100%.
I don't care. Even if we let in 2 goals and we still won 8-2, I have zero issue.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes. Moss, Awoniyi has got, I can't remember what his injury was. Was it foot or something with Awoniyi? He might be playing, but because he's on the injured list that I was given, which is given to me by like certain people, I have to take him out of the game. So
I reckon, you know what? I reckon even if he's not fully fit, they'll play him.
Yeah, probably because no offense, Chris, you're rubbish. He's just awful. I can't believe they've actually spent money on him this summer. It is what it is. £14.5 million, I think they spent. I did just want Bobby to say a one year. I struggle saying things because I have social anxiety. That's why I struggle to say certain names, because my brain is like trying to work it out, and then my social anxiety kicks in, and I'm like, hello there. That's why I struggle to say names problems. So I don't mean to get people's names wrong. It's just my social anxiety. So hang on. I've just noticed this. Steve's gone for 3-0. Saka, Havertz, and Xhaka.
Listen, Steve, let it go, man. Let it go. He's gone.
Oh yes, I remember now. Yes, I remember now.
Steve Cook took great pleasure in reminding me of how much I slated Xhaka before last season. But yeah, let it go, man. Yeah, it was the best time for Xhaka to leave, man. It was the right time.
Tony Fruebrook has gone for 5 now, which is lovely. I would love a 5-0. I really would. New rules. Why? New rules because everyone would have just picked Jesus for every single game. He's now out.
It's true. It makes it a lot more interesting.
Yeah, it just makes you think a little bit more about the whole squad, not just ours.
Well, unless you're me, that is. You know.
Then he just picks Eddie.
It wasn't until the last pick and I went, oh.
Well, I was thinking, oh no, I can see where he's going with this one. That's why I was trying to help you by saying.
Because Jesus, like when you put Jesus in there, it just elevates the team, doesn't it? The name, but
exactly.
Got me.
Yeah, nice adjustment. Right, so guys, let's take that off now. Let's see what the poll was, because it's why does it keep disappearing? Is it? Oh, there it is. I couldn't see it there. You're lucky. You're lucky, G. You have won.
I love my Armoury people, man. I love them, man. Thank you to the chat.
Hang on. Let's take it. Yeah. So you have won.
Did I win?
For me, the Kyriakos the team. Yeah, you did win. Kyriakos team was the best.
Don't worry. I will wire the money to you all after the show. Okay. Thank you for the votes.
I honestly, right, I might have to change this because I can see this going only one way. The Armoury are going to stick with the Armoury people. And because I'm doing it with opposition people that do the team.
Yeah.
This may not end up well for me.
No, but you know what? I was dreading it. But I do think my team was all right, you know.
I think the team, Kyriakos' team was best. Natalie was a little bit weird with the Aurier. Because for me, that was
Aurier, I just couldn't, man.
But I like what Kyriakos has tried to do, like put team.
I do.
Joe Worrell is a good centre back. I have no qualms with him. Mangala is a good midfielder. Trossard up front. I thought he did all right, to be fair. But yeah, I suppose you were lucky. You were lucky. You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to. For the future, G, you're going to have to improve your skills.
I will. It's only pre-season, you know.
Because the problem is, if you forget the injury thing, and we haven't got Jesus and we haven't got Eddie,
I'm gonna have to.
You could be really stuck.
I'm gonna have to clock that one real quick.
Yeah, James is saying. James saying not seeing Xhaka in these lineups makes me sad. Doesn't make me sad, if I'm honest. Look, our squad's improving, and thanks to Xhaka. You know, without Xhaka leaving, we probably wouldn't have done as much as we have. Yeah, that's important to remember.
Yeah,
and that goes with whoever else may be leaving the club in the next few weeks. Just remember that you may love them, but they have to go for us to improve the squad. So just remember those words, because it's
you scare me when you say things like this.
It's very important that you've got to remember. We all love certain players, but if they have to go for the better of the team, please just.
But you know what it is, yeah. With me, and maybe we could do a loose cannons show on this. It's just popped in my head.
Yeah.
I was thinking of like the untouchables. Like what would fans say if you were to pick, like, you know, 5 or 6 players or whatever the number of players, but who you would consider the untouchables? It would be quite interesting to see who would pick who, because for me there are certain players they are untouchable. But it'd be interesting just to see. Yeah, it'd just be interesting to see, 1, the number of players people think, and 2, who those individuals are. So yeah, I might actually do a stream on that.
I have a list that I was given. A couple of weeks ago. I spoke to Canners about it, and I said there was one player that came up on there, and I said as soon as his name is mentioned, the fan base will go a little bit crazy, and they have a little bit because his name is starting to be mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And there is only 4 untouchables. Obviously, the new ones we don't talk about. Yeah, so technically it's 8.
New signings out of the question. Yeah,
Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli, Saliba, untouchable, totally untouchable. Everyone else, there's a price.
You know what? I'd have to agree with that, though.
Yeah,
I'd have to agree with that because for me, Saka, Martinelli, Odegaard, and Saliba, that they are just like I'm not even. I'm not even. Yeah, like you. There's no amount of money for me that could allow me to sell any one of those 4.
Yeah,
I know they say that. Look, all players have their price.
Yeah,
but I agree with that because yes, we're fans. But these players are assets. We are a business. Exactly. Away from the affiliation and the emotion we have for the club is very different to obviously managing or owning, an organization, which is Arsenal. But those 4, I think all the rest, I think it would just depend on the price and how much we sold them and obviously where that money is going to be reinvested. But those 4, I have to agree. I wouldn't want to entertain anything.
Okay, I'm going to test you now.
Yeah.
I'm Real Madrid. I'm coming, ringing your doorbell. Here's £250 million for Saliba. Yes or no?
My gut instinct, no.
Saka?
No.
Martinelli?
Potentially.
Odegaard?
No.
Okay. So
I think of those 4, if I was to rank them,
you are spot on.
Yeah. Martinelli would be the only one I would consider to sell.
You're spot on.
Yeah.
Because I honestly think this is not something that I know of. I honestly don't think that Arsenal expected what's happened with Martinelli.
Yeah.
His value is ridiculously high. I think there is
from the second division in Brazil.
A number.
Yeah.
There's probably a number on his head as well.
Yeah.
But they would be very reluctant to sell him.
Yeah,
but they would easily go and replace him with someone of that quality.
That's what I'm saying.
Slightly less money.
Yeah. When I look at Saliba, I honestly, genuinely don't believe that there's a centre back in world football that we can bring in as good as him and with a higher ceiling. And it's very similar with Saka. I mean, I don't think the right wing, pool is amazing. I think that's one of the reasons why we struggled so much to get in somebody to rotate and compete with him. And I mean, I think one day, we already do it. I think we'll all look back and look at the fee we paid Madrid for Odegaard. When you look at, like I say, you look at what City are paying for Paqueta, when you look at what playmakers are going for in this market, what we paid for Odegaard, wow. It's just unreal. Yeah. And I just if you were to sell Odegaard, 250 million is a lot of money. But if you were to sell Odegaard for 250 million, who do you sign that's going to come in and do like for like what he did last season? Yeah. Unless you sign, De Bruyne. But De Bruyne's coming to the twilight of his career. He's coming to the end of his career. So who in the market can you get, at his age or younger, that's going to come in and replicate what he did last season and what he is going to go on to do in an Arsenal shirt. Yeah. So for me, of the 4, Martinelli would be the only one I'd probably consider to sell at that type of money. But the other 3, hell no.
Yeah, 100%. Steve's giving me cracking. Well, I'm going to get into Steve's comment in a minute. Tony said, Bobby, my team should have won. To be fair, Tony, your team was actually very good as well. I have to be honest. G's going to have to improve for next time with the preview.
Oh, worry, man. I'm just warming up, man.
He just about got away with that one.
I'm just warming up. It's pre-season, man. I'm just warming up.
Steve saying Mbappe for Martinelli. Look, Mbappe has said to PSG he's not leaving whatsoever. So unless PSG have got a way of getting him out the club, which is impossible unless he wants to take out the contract, he ain't coming to Arsenal because he's only going to one club. Let's be honest. Saying Saliba, and I'm not a big fan of Guardiola. I've watched him a lot, and I'm not a big fan of him.
I'm on the fence.
You're on the fence. See, everyone says, "Oh, he's the best."
I'm on the
like,
fence. You know what?
like...
I've seen him, and he looks like an absolute machine. And then I've seen him on other days, and he looks like Bambi on ice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not completely sold on him.
No,
just put it that way.
Geek saying, I think Timber, Saliba, Rice, and Saka would be the untouchables for the next 2 summer windows, and I know he did also add Odegaard as well. Tony saying Burnley 1, Man City 0 tomorrow. You heard it first. It would not surprise me. I think it's been set up like this. Company up against his old club. Big up to Michael. Just started watching 5 minutes ago. Great chat. Yeah, well, that's pretty much what we do here. We kind of have a set plan, but we just end up chatting.
We just go with the flow, man.
And I know Moss did say that I was right about Awoniyi. Yes, I know I'm right because I'm told who's injured. Only 25% chance of playing since the FPL, but FPL is what Fantasy Premier League. Just saying. Just come across you guys and subscribe. Thank you very much, Michael.
Nice one, bro.
Lovely. If I offer 200 million each for them, would you take it? Martinelli, I think we both would agree, yes.
Yeah.
Saka, Odegaard, and Saliba, no.
You know what it is though? It's like because I see Tony's comment there saying, "I hope G never owns Arsenal." You know what it is, yeah? Is you've got to look at like the rest of the market, and you've got to look at like it's not only like it's all well and good having money in the bank, which is what I mean. Just look at the West Ham situation. It's all well and good having money in the bank, but it's like realistically, like if you sell Saliba. My question to Tony and to the chat would be: those of you who would take 200 million for Saliba, who would you sign to replace him? Because really and truly, and we're talking value for money because you've got 200 million in the bank. Everybody knows you've got 200 million pounds. So every single player's value quadruples. Yeah. So what centre back in world football are you going to bring in for a reasonable price? So, yeah, I mean, I do get it. Like, that is, astronomical amount of money. At the same time, you've got to think, like, who are you going to bring in that you can, who is available, who's going to be affordable? Because you don't want to sell Saliba and have to go out and spend half, if not 3/4, or if not the whole lot you've just recouped for Saliba to bring in a replacement. That doesn't make any sense. And obviously I know they got their scouts and they'll have players they're watching all the time, but yeah, man, I think it's a lot more complicated than that because you can sell Saka for 200 million, but who are you going to bring in? Are you going to go? You sell Saka for 200 million and then you go and try and bring in Rafinha from Barcelona. They're going to charge you 150 mil. Yeah, and he's nowhere near 150 mil pound player, but that's the problem with the market. So. Yeah, I would rather spend that type of money. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather sell like maybe one of them, and then maybe reinvest that money on wages to keep the other 3 at the club for as long as possible.
Yeah. And for me, I think if Saka was ever to leave, I think we've already got someone that replaces him at the club in Gazia. I'll be honest. I think he will literally step into Saka's shoes. So, I have no issues with that. I know Steve's saying here that Mbappe would never come. I have never want Mbappe at our club, if I'm honest. There's too much about him that I don't like. And it's more to do with the business side of him.
Yeah. You know what it is with Mbappe? It's one of those where if you said to me Mbappe, Martinelli, my heart, I'd keep Martinelli. My head... And I think the excitement of having like arguably the world's best player at your club and all the kind of hype and commercialism that comes with that, I think Arsenal fans could get pretty carried away. But yeah, I think we'd be stupid to, because it's not just about, I mean, some people will say, oh, ridiculous, Mbappe's a way better player than Martinelli. I'm not disputing that. Mbappe for me is the best player, on his day, he's the best player in the world. But football's a little bit more complex than that, isn't it? It's not just about having the best footballers at your club. It's that cohesion. It's that chemistry between the squad and the players. And right now, I mean, I've never known it to be so positive in all the years I've supported the club. So,
yeah. Well, look what he's doing at PSG. Is that a good player to
Well,
have
this
around.
is it.
You know,
This is it.
Yes, some of it is PSG's fault. Some of it is his. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I don't want that anywhere near my club,
Yeah.
if I'm honest. Geeks is saying this is the problem Tottenham would have if Kane leaves. Obviously, the money. Everyone will know Tottenham have the money. And it's happened with us as well in the past, where people know we had the money. Saliba Rolls-Royce player says the mighty fine Ukrainian mid Zinchenko. There is nobody out there to replace Saliba. No.
Nah.
Not for me. Arsenal squad is so healthy, young, and remember the days we need to get rid of the deadwood. We're nearly there.
Yeah,
Nearly there. We are so close. So close. I'm not hating on Arsenal, but creating the rumour Mbappe to Arsenal is just delusional. As everyone knows, I do Arsenal news. Has Mbappe ever been my headline? Never.
Nope.
Because I know it's not true.
Yeah. It's been mentioned on the timeline by, you know, some in the know accounts, but realistically, nobody reliable has ever reported it.
I will talk about it because it's in the Twitter sphere, but that's it. I'm literally going to talk about it, but I guarantee he won't be coming into the club. I'll eat my hat if that happens. I agree. Mbappe is about himself. We would be trading a solid pro for a player who would use as a doormat. Sorry, I sell my entire family £200 million.
That's what I was laughing at, bro.
Oh my god, I love you, Tony. Honestly, you always crack me.
Oh mate.
And we've got Holding. Look, I still think there's a lot to happen. Tavares, Holding, Lokonga. I still think there's some players that I think a lot of people aren't prepared to let go that might go as well. There's a lot to happen. Look at the Brentford deal with Raya. There's a reason why that might be low. That's all I'm saying. There might be a reason why that's low. Just saying. But we'll wait and see. Arsenal news is tomorrow, so hopefully I might have an update on that tomorrow. But G, thank you ever so much. He's definitely got to go and practice his challenge.
Still one though.
I still think it's very biased chat, if I'm honest. I might do it on an FTSN vote poll next time because I know they're not all Arsenal fans. But G, where can people find you, my friend?
Yeah, no, man. Absolute pleasure to be back. Looking forward to the season. So obviously, thank you to everybody who's tuned in tonight. Big up the chat for all the comments, questions, and obviously the votes. Love that. You can find me on Twitter. I mean, obviously, you can find me on the Armoury with me, Bobby, and the other fellas. Going to try and get on as many shows as possible between now, start of the season, and obviously throughout the season. But the main place where I do all my interaction, at the moment, I'm off work, so quite a bit of interaction. If you want to get chatting about Arsenal, is on Twitter, which is my handles on the screen, which is at GTalksArsenal. So yeah, if you're on Twitter and you don't follow me, pop me a follow. If I don't follow you back, just drop me a DM and I'll aim to follow you back as soon as possible. So yeah, man, pleasure.
Thank you very much, G. I will be back tomorrow at 7 with Arsenal news. Brenny's joining me tomorrow evening for that. I'm pretty sure there will be breaking news in the morning. However, I won't be around, but I'm going to try and give the information and stuff to the people that will be here because I won't be here in the morning. I've got
Could be.
Yeah, well, I'll just pass it on But I'm pretty sure because Raya needs to be registered by 12 p.m. tomorrow. Yeah. But Arsenal could wait till 3 and still say he's been registered before 12. Just saying 3 o'clock is how Arsenal like to do their announcements. It's a weird time, but that's what they choose. And then on Saturday, I will be here to do the Arsenal Forest watch along, and I'll be here to do reaction as well. So if we have been beaten, you'll just see me crying on the reaction because I'll literally stay in after the watch along. Big up to everyone. Great show. Thank you very much, Geeks. Thank you, Steve. You have a good weekend too. Do you think there is a position that Arsenal should improve? Because I think the squad is very balanced and strong. I'm going to quickly answer that. Keep an eye on a possible new midfielder coming in. And not just a small one, quite a big one, quite a big name. So keep an eye on that coming over the next few days. But G,
is that going to feature tomorrow night?
It might do. I'm going to see if I can get some more information on it.
It really surprises me. I just feel like midfield we're good. Yeah, interesting.
You just don't know who else is leaving. That's what I'm saying. You just don't know
Bobby, please just stop.
I'm sorry. I've told you, and it's still because Juventus. I've told you, Juventus are the team that we need to worry about the party. They're selling Zakaria. They've just sold him to Monaco, so that's one gone. Pogba is the next one. They get him gone. They're going to bid.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly, geeks. I honestly still think one of Jorginho and Partey will leave before the window ends. However, Arsenal have got a big plan. And if I don't know if anyone's noticed the Zubamendi situation. We agreed a deal. We agreed a deal at the beginning of the window.
Oh yeah, but he didn't want to leave. He didn't want to leave mid-season, wasn't he?
We pulled out. No, at the beginning of this transfer window.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We actually triggered the release scores and then we pulled out.
Okay.
So we are after another midfielder. Are we going Dutch? No. Well, we don't know, but there is a possible Serie A midfielder being linked. So we'll wait and see on that one. Juventus talking to Partey. There you go, Steve. And Steve is also very close with these transfers as well. So, yeah, there you go. So if Steve's saying it, I'm saying it. Be worried, people. For people that want Partey to stay, I'm quite happy about it.
Oh, man, don't ruin my Partey, man.
Look, if it's for the greater good, because he is 30, he's got 2 years left. This is the best time to sell him. I've said this is the biggest reason why Arsenal would sell him. But
like I said to you know what I mean? Like for me, there are untouchables. He's not untouchable. Yeah. But as long as the price is nice and the money's reinvested in the squad, then I'm easy.
Yeah. Let's just wait and see. I'll try and get some more information for tomorrow. If not, I'll probably talk about it a little bit, but it won't be the main headline. But yeah, it's definitely been coming out because the club that we're looking at, they want 2 of our players. So it's a nice little, tight little bundle there. I know. But guys, thank you ever so much. I know we've gone on a little bit more, but that's what we do here. We just rabbit on. Guys, take care. See you tomorrow.
Take it easy, man.
Bye-bye.